Hi everybody. Can you hear me in the back?
Yes.
Can you hear me in the front? Okay, it's unfortunate. This is my favorite talk or conversation, which I call Building Mind. This is where we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of your mind, your identity, your personality. The thing that makes your life great and the thing that can also at the same time make your life a living hell.
Oh yeah, it's double organic.
So we're going to talk about the mechanics underlying that and going to give you some tools to empower you to face the challenges that you have in your life. Okay? But first I have a question. How many of you know what to do, but you're not doing? You know what to do, but you're not doing. Come on, keep the hands up. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes? Pretty much everybody, sometime, we know what to do, and yet we do something completely different. So why is that? Are we lacking information? No, because we know what to do, right? So why is it that you know what to do, but you don't do it? Why don't you do what you know you should do? You're dense. You're dense. You're dense. You're dense. You're dense. You're definitely dense. You're dense? What did I just say? You're dense. Not dance. But you're dense. What did you just hear me say?
You're dense.
What does that mean? Oh, somebody said you're stupid? Who else? Anything like that? Was anybody offended when I pointed at you and said you're dense? Stubborn? A lot going on? Thick-headed, maybe?
We think we're fooling ourselves.
You think you're fooling yourselves. Well, you are fooling yourselves. Well, what you might have heard is you are D-E-N-S-E. You are dense. But what I said was Y-O-U-R-D-E-N-T-S. You're dense. We have an identity. This is what we are. We start out not as a blank slate, but we start out as like a blank sheet of metal or some object that can be dented. And as a baby, we're pretty much it's not perfectly uniform, it's not perfectly smooth, that piece of metal. But over the course of our life, things happen. Good things happen, and bad things happen. And when they do, a little hammer comes down and goes, dong, and you've got a dent. And over the course of your life, you become more and more dented. And there's less and less possibility for you because there's not really much more room to dent. Once something has been dented, it's really hard to take the dent out. Somebody slammed into my car in the parking lot and put a big dent in the back. Luckily, they left their phone number next to it. But my car is now dented. It's going to be really hard to get that dent out without completely replacing the panel of the car. Same thing happens with us. When something comes along in life, your parents did something or said something, a schoolmate did something or said something, you stood up in front of a group of people and tried to give a talk and it wasn't well received, dent. And those dents form our identity. When we meet someone, we want to make a good first impression. What is an impression? It's a dent. I want to leave my mark. I want to mark you. I want to impress upon you, which means I want to dent you. This is our intention, most people, when they want to make an impact. When you think about the language, which we seldom do, it's all about leaving a mark. The word character means mark. Care, like to carve, because they used to carve letters into stone. So a character was a mark made in the stone that would then become a letter. It's all about making a mark, making a dent. And this is what creates and forms us. And it is your dents which are separate from your conscious awareness of self. They're two unrelated regions of the brain. It is your dents that cause you to behave in a way that is contrary to your goals, to your beliefs, to your understanding. And it's therefore not your fault. You didn't set this up. You didn't start the process. You didn't choose it. You didn't choose to have a human brain. You didn't choose to get dented. You didn't choose to be an impressionable infant. You were simply born and thrown into the world. And now you've got to live with those dents. So we're going to talk about how to turn dents into dance. Right? But before we do that, I'm going to give you a little introduction to the brain. That mass of goo between your ears and eyes and other sensory organs. I'm going to ask you a question. And if you've seen me do this before, if you've seen me ask this question before, please refrain from answering. I've got here a cup filled with water. The cup is plastic, all right? But the water is filtered. This is the good alkaline water that you get over there in the kitchen. And if I were to buy this water in a store, let's say, well, we won't get there yet. I'll just tell you this. The cup and the water cost $1.10. The cup and the water cost $1.10. The water is $1 more than the cup. How much is the cup? 10 cents. Who said, right? They cost together $1.10. The water, very expensive water, is $1 more than the cup, and therefore, out loud, the cup is
10 cents.
But it's not 10 cents. What? Think about it. They cost $1.10 together. The water's $1 more. How much is the cup? They cost $1.10.
In total?
In total, together, right there, $1.10. Come on, simple addition. Oh, what is it?
5 cents.
5 cents. Give that man a nickel. Why is it 5 cents? Because if the water is $1 more, that means the water is $1.05. It's $1 more. It's not $1. And if it's $1 more at $1.05 and the cup is 5, it's $1.10. Why did I just lead you through that thought experiment? To show you that your brain is really, really quick at making assumptions and being certain about the answers that it comes to. Really, really good. This happens to you hundreds, if not thousands of times a day. Your brain will be presented with a problem like this, and it'll quickly shoot out an answer, and it is certain of the answer. Because it's obvious, right? But it's not. Seldom do we do the deeper thinking. Seldom do we stop, stand back, pause, and say, wait a minute. What's really going on here? Are those really pool balls being knocked around outside, or is there a hailstorm? Could be a hailstorm, I don't know. But our brain makes assumptions. It jumps to conclusions because of our dents. Now, if you're driving along, or if you don't drive, you're driving with somebody who's driving along, and you come to a part of the land where it drops. For instance, around the lake. In fact, the lake itself is a dent. And the water formed in the dent. The water filled in. Because it runs downhill. It fills in the lower surfaces. And any of you that have been running around the lake or biking around the lake, what happens when you get to a downhill? What happens to your speed? It increases. What happens when you try to go uphill? It decreases. Whenever we approach a dent, our speed of reaction increases. Our speed of certainty increases. So if you were dented in a particular area, Like I used to get picked on a lot as a kid, and if somebody now, 40 years later, said something similar, if I even heard a certain word similar to how I was picked on as a child, immediately my dent flares up. And now I'm in a state where I'm going to be much more reactive, and where my thoughts are going to condense. And I'm going to come up with answers really quickly, and those answers are usually going to be related to my insecurities and fears around that dent. And my thinking will speed up. If you try to climb out of that dent, it's hard work. It's like I know what to do, but I'm having a really hard time doing it. And if you've been dented enough, and again, and again, and again, in the same spot, that dent gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, until eventually you have a depression, which is a really big dent in the land. A depression is where you have pulled away from the surface. And that's what dents are as well. They are where you have pulled away from the surface. We're not going to talk about the positive dents today, because the positive dents are where you're dinged on the inside, and that becomes a plateau, that becomes a peak. It rises above. But we're today going to talk about the dents that rise below. Does that work? Rise below? They fall below. Okay, so you got your peaks and you got your valleys. And when we get hurt, we pull away. We protect that part of ourselves. And that's what depression is. It's a protection. It's like, okay, you're being hurt too much. We're pulling you out of the game. We're going to put you on the bench. Or if you're hurt really bad, we're going to pull you out of the game and put you in the hospital. You need to recover. You need to heal. So we're going to pull that part of you really far away from the surface, and we're not going to show people anymore. We're going to withdraw. That's a really big dent. And if that depression is deep enough, no light will get down to the bottom, and it becomes a black hole. And if you're down in the bottom of that black hole and you're looking up, what you see is, in physics, what they call the event horizon, which is the outside or the rim of a black hole. You look up there and you see all these happy people on the rim doing all these events on your horizon, and you can't climb up there. It's too far away. You can't do it. And now, not everybody has depression, but we all have dents. We all have gravity that keeps us in the bottom of those dents. And you know where your dents are because these are the things that you gravitate towards. These are the things that you accelerate towards. They're the easy choice. Not the right choice, not the good choice, not the long-term health choice, but the easy downhill gravity choice. You get pulled right into it. And that's not your fault. It's nobody's fault. You're human. Well, is there anybody here that's not human? Any aliens, like hybrids or anything like that? Ronnie? Okay, I suspected that. So, what I have learned, I'll give you a little brief snippet. How many of you know, have seen my videos, have heard me talk before, or how many of you haven't? Raise your hand if you haven't. Okay, a couple. Okay, great. Just a brief snippet of who I am, why I'm here. I've dealt with depression since the age of 17 until the age of 47, which is today. And it's become a huge part of my life, a huge part of my identity. All right? And I've got lots of big dents, not just one, I got several. I took it from all kinds of sides when I was young. And for most of my life, I also have new teeth, and it's often challenging to say certain letters, so if I stumble, it's because I got new choppers. Last year at the festival, I had missing teeth and big holes. That was sick. It was fun. But that was part of my vulnerability, which is what this conversation is going to be about today. It's going to be about vulnerability. It's going to be about authenticity. It's going to be about finding the truth at the bottom of that dent, because we can nurture the truth down there at the bottom, then the possibility of change emerges. So, dealt with depression, I've done stuff in my life. I was an actor for a while. I managed a restaurant. I was a construction worker. I was all kinds of stuff. I was a computer consultant. I was a cartographer. I had all these jobs and none of them really seemed to fit, and I was always trying to find myself and always trying to overcome this depression, thinking that this thing will fix it. That's what acting was. That was one of my last things. It's like, okay, if I become an actor and I'm famous and I'm rich, then I'll be able to survive this depression. Because I'll only have to work a few months out of the year and I'll get a lot of money to do it and everybody will want to hang out with me. And if I say no, they won't get pissed at me, they'll feel bad about themselves. Awesome. So, acting was not so much like, I want to be an actor. It's like, I don't know what else to do. How am I going to survive? How am I going to get money? I can't work a regular job. I can't do what normal people do. I can't keep a consistent schedule. I can't get myself to do anything on a regular basis, including brushing my teeth. Little things that everybody just takes for granted, which is one of the reasons that I'm having dental issues many years later now, because for much of my life, I couldn't do basic hygiene. Really, really hard. And people look at me now and they're like, okay, you're super fit, you run constantly, you eat this crazy strict diet, and you're researching hours and hours a day. Wow, you're so disciplined. You're like, I can't even imagine being like that. I can't imagine being like that either. And what I do doesn't require discipline. What I do doesn't require willpower. And that's what we're going to talk about. What it requires is that you go deep. What it requires is that you become vulnerable and honest. So why am I here today if I'm the guy who couldn't brush his teeth and often didn't get out of bed and couldn't take a shower and wouldn't go to work for days at a time? And I moved to a raw diet in 2004. And within a week, my life transformed. And I didn't think I'd want to eat this way forever. I thought I'll just do it for a little while. I had chronic fatigue and pretty severe depression at the time. I just lost my job and I didn't know what to do. I thought I was going to be homeless in Los Angeles, so somebody offered to help me out with a raw diet. I did it for a week and everything changed. So I did it for another week, felt even better. Did it for another week, felt even better. And after a few months, I thought, I don't ever want to go back. Why would I want to go back to that guy? This guy has energy, this guy can do things. But it wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. My depression didn't go away, it just changed. In fact, in some ways it got worse. Because a raw food diet makes you more sensitive. A raw food diet makes you more clear. A raw food diet makes your brain work better. And if your brain has dents that cause you to focus on the negative things, and now your brain is more optimized and thinking better, it's really going to find the details about that negativity. It's going to find negative details that you could never find before when you were in food coma. Now I've got this like razor sharp brain. It's like, and if I'm on something negative, it can really throw me into a depression. So I started running after a year of eating raw food and was on top of the world and wanted to tell everybody, you need to eat raw food and I'm going to prove to you how good this is by running, and I'm going to make an Olympic team at 40, which didn't happen. I was humbled pretty badly, but I'd only been running for 2 years at that point. It was a ridiculous delusion. Even somebody at the age of 19 or 20 wouldn't run for 2 years and expect to make the Olympic team, but to do so at 40 is just beyond comprehension. But I didn't know. The tagline of my project is to see what's possible and to be what's possible. And I didn't know. I didn't know what was possible for me. I'd never done anything in my life. I'd never really pushed. I'd never done anything consistently. Let's find out. I've got a new lease on life. So I started running. And one of the things I found was that it helped my depression. But didn't make it go away, but just helped me deal with it every day. And the diet helped me deal with my depression every day. Didn't make it go away, but helped me deal with it. So in that time, I have amassed an enormous amount of research and data and tools that allow me to function at a higher and higher and higher level. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. That doesn't mean I do everything well. But I've learned how to do some things really, really, really well. As part of my project as a runner, I didn't make the Olympics, but I won 10 U.S. Masters Championships. Not one, but 10. I was named the U.S. Masters Runner of the Year 4 times, like for the whole United States. I was the top American at the World Stair Climbing Championships up the Empire State Building, which is the World Championships. Did I say that? I was 4th overall. I've done some pretty extraordinary things in my 40s as a runner. As a guy who couldn't brush his teeth, and now here I am training so ridiculously consistently. And again, not about discipline, not about willpower, not about being a certain type of person that can do those things, because I'm not that kind of person. So, one of the type of people that I am is an introvert. I'm shy. And these things right here, they scare the crap out of me. They scare the crap out of me. I so want to be a part of a team. I so want to build a team. I want to build a team of compassionate athletes, compassionate advocates that changes the world. But I'm scared of people. I got some dents when it comes to people. I can talk to you right now because I'm not having one-on-one conversations. None of you are a threat. But the moment one of you gets me aside and starts talking to me, I'll talk back, but my threat response goes way up. So team. So what do you do if you're an individual and it's teams that get things done? Because I got a lot of things done as an athlete, but guess what? Most people don't know. Most of the vegan community or raw community has no idea what I've done as an athlete. And I didn't do it for me, I did it for them. I wanted people to see what you could do on a raw vegan diet. Like, hey, I'm going to amass these results. People are going to know about it, and it's going to change things. Other athletes are going to say, holy cow, this old dude just kicked ass. But I'm not a part of the team. So that information never really got that far. Only a few people know it. And what do they say about team?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamworks make dream work, but what else? There is no I in team. So what do you do if you're the individual? What do you do if you've got a brain that's constantly focused on
I'm proud to announce the release of my free raw recipe app. Do you want over 100 original raw food recipes in the palm of your hand? Click the links to download or search Double Organic on your phone. Oh yeah, it's Double Organic. Did you know I offer raw food coaching? Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Got epic recipes, fitness, and raw food motivation. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. Whoa, look at all those recipes. Those look tasty. Give me some of that.